Cash is an intriguing thing. The more you attempt to get away from it, the more unavoidable it becomes. The more you go up against it and control it, the less it controls you. It's a brilliant hireling, yet an awful ace. Regardless, it's additionally a marker of position in the public arena. On the off chance that you have a ton of cash, individuals will in general regard you and pay attention to you. On the off chance that you don't, life becomes unmistakably increasingly troublesome. Cash is incredible to such an extent that it impacts parts of our lives a long ways past basic money-related real factors. It can influence our very feeling of self. Research has demonstrated that cash is inseparably associated with bliss. It sounds disputable, we've all rehashed to ourselves that cash doesn't accepting bliss. However, the straightforward truth is that in case you can't bolster yourself and your family, it's hard to be cheerful. Poor cash. The board has been associated with low confidence and poor self-esteem. There's a feeling of vulnerability related with realizing that you're not in charge of your cash. Then again, shrewd cash. The executives can have positive results that are similarly as broad. The individuals who oversee cash well are regularly more joyful, more beneficial, and report more elevated levels of fulfillment. In spite of the fact that cash the executives can be upsetting and tedious, there are not kidding ramifications for dismissing it. In this specific case, far out isn't out of psyche, and what you don't know can especially hurt you. The correct mentality for the activity. With regards to the workplace, these realities about cash stay applicable. Most employments are requesting and serious, they expect you to remain sharp and in charge. In case you're eating or dozing ineffectively, you may see a tumbling off in the nature of your work. Could the equivalent be valid for poor spending conduct and inadequate investment funds? Without a firm monetary establishment, it's difficult to fabricate the kind of solid way of life that permits you to perform at the most elevated level. On the off chance that you aren't sparing appropriately, it regularly implies living check to check, as a large number of Americans do. Would you be able to envision the kind of stress that causes? Consider the possibility that you get laid off. Imagine a scenario where you need to accept a decrease in salary. In the event that you aren't monetarily secure, you may feel like you need to sneak around managers and treat each task like your future relies upon it. With the edge for blunder so little and the outcomes of disappointment so cataclysmic, work turns into an interminable bad dream. So how would you dodge this kind of worry in the work environment? Assume responsibility for your funds. Bring in cash work for you. Your FICO rating can be a quite decent pointer of your money-related well-being. It's not hard to comprehend or characterize credit, yet your score considers than simply your advance history. It's a comprehensive impression of your monetary practices, estimated over some undefined time frame. On the off chance that you have a poor financial assessment, it very well may be hard to get advances, and you'll wind up paying a lot higher loan costs on your visas. Luckily, you can fix your FICO assessment by creating and keeping great monetary propensities. First off, don't spend more than you acquire. It sounds fundamental, yet such a large number of individuals end each month owing more cash than they did toward the start. Spending plan cautiously and adhere to your objectives. It's critical to know where your cash is really going. Little costs don't appear to be a serious deal at that point, however they include rapidly, and in the total, they majorly affect your funds. At the point when you audit your costs, you may be shocked the amount you spend on things like espresso, cheap food and online memberships. Make certain to cover your tabs on schedule. Begin sparing somewhat every month if there should arise an occurrence of crisis, and secure your reserve funds. Try not to plunge into them for unimportant buys. Talk with a budgetary counselor about retirement and venture choices. As you begin building up these great propensities, you'll see that your entire life settles and improves. Dealing with your cash well will add to your genuine feelings of serenity at work, yet at home also.